What's going on, everybody? SSK here, back at it again with another Marvel Tokon video for y'all. And today we are going to be talking about team building strategies for Marvel Tokon. Now, I know you guys have been waiting for me to make this video for a long time now, but to be fair, I really wanted to wait a little bit because I wanted to kind of look at this game, give it some more time to kind of gather my thoughts and look at competitive play and see how people are building their teams in this game. Now, before I get into this video, I do want to be clear, this is still early as a game, meaning we are still in the very infancy of Marvel Tokon, and there is a lot to learn. New tech is being developed every day, so we are still learning this game. But these team building strategies will be sure to get you started if you want to learn how to build your teams and if you want to learn any kind of character. So without further ado, let's get right into the 3 core team building strategies that I think will be very popular in this game. So the first strategy I have in mind is building a team around an anchor character. Now, if Marvel Tokon is your first tag fighter or team game in general, and you're not really familiar with what anchor means, essentially an anchor character is someone who utilizes the meter in a game very well, more better than other characters. If you play Dragon Ball FighterZ, somebody like Tien who uses a lot of tri-beams with a lot of meter is someone that's an example of an anchor character. Or you could look at somebody like Phoenix in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 who needs that meter in order to get to her comeback factor. Now in Marvel Tokon, the term anchor definitely exists in this game, but this time anchors are very flexible. I'll get into that later. First of all, you have somebody like Magic who excels at having a lot of meter in the game because she actually has an install that transforms her and she does a lot more damage, her special moves are buffed, and she just overall becomes a very stronger character with what she's doing. You can even look at a character like Black Panther who also excels at having a bunch of meter because she too has an install, and in this install, if you can see on the bottom left, she has a timer there, but that timer, what she can do is that she can infinitely do all of those dashes for as much as she wants until that timer runs out, meaning that she can bait her opponents, move around so crazy, and you can just really build a team around her, really trying to go ahead and go to that meter that you want so you can tag into Black Panther eventually and go crazy with her with that install. Now, I just need to make something clear here. You absolutely can play honestly any character on Anchor, because if we're being real, a lot of characters in this game really benefit off of having a lot of super and skill meter and having a lot of that assemble gauge. If you look at a character like Hulk, Hulk is a character that absolutely benefits from having a lot of meter and a lot of assemble gauge because this character will kill you. There's also characters like Spider-Man whose mix-ups become way stronger when he has more meter. So when it comes to building a team around these anchor characters, you only really need to play 2 characters, which is your anchor character and a character that can build meter very well because they don't need to use a lot of meter in their combos. Or you can have a strategy to just simply not use a lot of meter in your combos. So a lot of what you want to do is prioritize wall breaks, wall splats, and meterless combos so that you can build that meter very quickly. Then you can tag into that anchor character you want and go crazy. So definitely get involved with this strategy if you want to. Now, the second team building strategy I do want to talk about is building a team around your main character. Now, I know a lot of people were asking me if it is competitively viable to play 1 to 2 characters in this game only, and I will be the first one to tell you right now, it absolutely is. Punk, who is one of the top players playing this game, actually only plays Spider-Man solo, and Snake Eyes, who is pretty much the best champion in the game, only plays champion solo, a character who is bottom 1. Now, all of us can have our own opinions on how we feel about this, that, and the third, but the point stands, you absolutely can play 1 to 2 characters in this game. You don't have to learn all 4 of your characters, but I'll get into that later. Right now, we are going to talk about building a team around your main character, the only character you want to use. So let's use Magneto here as an example. Magneto in this game is a character who is a zoner. So he obviously is going to be throwing out projectiles, trying to zone the opponent out, but there's a core part of Magneto that is very important, and that is actually his unique attack. So he throws these unique attacks, right? Any of these items on the field, whether it's different stages, he'll throw different stuff, right? When he throws these out, you'll see he'll get that debris on the field, right? But also, He also puts the opponent in that magnetized state that you can see right here, where the opponent has some purple stuff around him. What this does, just like the debris, amplifies Magneto's special moves. So this will go crazy like that, but if he does this normally, it doesn't do that, right? So the thing about it is that you want to get this, because if you do, this buffs Magneto's moves crazy, because the more debris he has on the field and the opponent is in the magnetized state, he becomes a lot stronger. So our goal is to build a team around supporting Magneto while you're doing this. Here's the thing. With this unique button, he can throw this either horizontally, or he can toss it towards a little bit in the air. He can also do this in the air too by throwing it horizontally or throwing it a little bit diagonal down to the ground. Now, because of this means that Magneto is not going to be able to control every space on the field if he's throwing one at the same time. For example, if he's throwing one horizontally, if the opponent air dashed or jumped on him, he might get punished for that. So what we want to do is have assist characters that help, support Magneto in controlling space that he can't control at the moment. So for example, if I'm throwing this horizontally, but I can't control that airspace, I can always just call in Doom's anti-air assist to control that space for me. Watch. And as you can see, that controls a lot of space on the field, and that's really good because just in case the opponent jumps, Doom will actually catch them. Now, if you're throwing out these debris high up in the air, right, you're not going to control a lot of that horizontal space, and the opponent can kind of just run in and hit you, right? Well, that means you're going to need a horizontal assist to help you out during this, which is the Green Goblin Norman Osborn, right? So we're going to call this assist, and he's going to control that area right here while you're throwing this out. And this is going to be really good for controlling space, and it's going to make Magneto's zoning a lot more stronger. Now, you're probably looking at that magic back assist and being like, what is magic doing here? Look at how much screen this controls. This controls so much screen. So if you're just throwing out these stuff, you can kind of just call magic and it just help you control a lot more space, because she controls in the air way too high, and just that whole pillar of fire, your opponent is not going anywhere. So combine this with all the other assists you can do, and look at this. Just look at all that screen control that you have with this character, building off of Magneto. Now, let's say you're playing a rushdown character like Wolverine, who, unlike Magneto, he actually wants to get in on his opponents and go crazy with his Berserker combos and do all these fancy mix-ups and just cross over his opponents, things like that, right? Let's say you're playing this kind of character. What you want to do is build a team around Wolverine that actually helps him approach. So for example, if we're looking at Star-Lord right here, right? He actually helps covers Wolverine's approaches so that he can be a little bit safe, so that he can, get in and easily start that pressure or those combos that he wants. If we're looking at Magneto, Magneto actually controls that diagonal space, and if the opponent is trying to jump on Wolverine or something like that, or they're zoning out Wolverine, Magneto will actually just snipe them out of the air, because usually a lot of characters like to zone in those diagonal positions like Iron Man and stuff like that. So it really helps, and Magneto and Doom are really good for this, and this is why they're some of the best anti-air assists in the game, by the way. Now, another assist I would think is really good is Carnage back assist, because he actually pulls in the opponents towards him and Wolverine can get started there. And even if the opponent blocks it, he can actually pull the opponent towards him and he can start pressure from there as well. So this actually helps Wolverine in a lot of ways, because Star-Lord, Magneto, and Carnage help support Wolverine's goal of getting in on his opponents. And as Wolverine yourself, you can actually just eviscerate your opponent like this, call an assist to be safe, and continue your pressure from there as well. That's another option you have. Now, my favorite thing about this team is actually the Wolverine and Star-Lord synergy, because if you tag into Star-Lord, like let's say you make Star-Lord your main character right off the bat, right? Well, as some of y'all may know, Star-Lord actually can switch his elements on his guns to different stuff like ice, earth, and fire, but his fire one is actually very unique, because if you tag into Wolverine and throw out that fire, it actually is a slow fireball that helps Wolverine approach. Now, on the strategy of building a team around your main character, this is actually the strategy that I have for my team, which is Blade, Magic, Magneto, and Dr. Doom. Now, for Magic's assist, it's actually very useful because the fireball travels very fast. Magic actually appears behind Blade when you call the assist, and it's also pretty useful for making yourself safe when you're doing unsafe moves. And overall, that's really why I like that assist a lot. But my favorite use of Magic's assist is that you can actually combo it from Blade's gunshots and go into a full screen confirm. Watch this. And this is really, really sick. Now, of course, like I said, Magneto, he's controlling that diagonal field and is very good for controlling that space. And if somebody's trying to zone blade or something like that, it's just very, very effective. Now, Doom, he's calling the sentry laser out, and the opponent has to respect that, and they have to move around it somehow. So it causes your opponent to be very pressured and, limit the opponent's movement options. And using these assists together can create some really crazy moments. With Doom's assists, Magneto's assists, and Magic's assists, I control actually a lot of the field. And it's really solid to do if you have a life lead or something like that. So yeah, there's a lot of really cool ways that you can just build off of one character for a team. And if you just want to play one character in this game, you absolutely can do that. Now, the next and last strategy I do want to talk about when it comes to team building strategies in this game is actually building a team around different setups. There's a lot of ways you can set up mix-ups in this game, and some people have teams where they just have 4 characters just going ahead and looping offense to kind of go do some high-low mix-ups and just keep it going the whole time. Like I said before, a lot of characters in this game have much synergy with each other, and there's a bunch of setups you can come up with. Whether you're playing 2 characters, 3 characters, or 4 characters, there is a lot you can do here. There's like left-right mix-ups, high-low mix-ups, command grab setups, and like I just said, you only need to learn 2 characters, 3 characters, or even 4 characters to come up with these. There is a bunch of tech on Twitter and YouTube showing off which characters have different synergies with each other, and it's really sick to see. But those are the 3 core team building strategies that I think will be effective in Marvel Tokon and that you'll be seeing a lot more when you're playing the game. If you guys enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to keep up with me as I try to make Marvel Tokon videos weekly. So if that sounds awesome to you, enjoy the ride. If you guys feel there's any other team building strategies I didn't mention in this video, please be sure to leave it in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching so much. You all are lovely, and be sure to have yourselves a blessed day.